It's a voice that you're familiar with.
It's history in the making. A battle for the ages as two of football's greatest field generals square off in what could be a final showdown.
When you watch a baseball game, football or hockey, you hear him painting a powerful verbal portrait of the event.
Watch the NHL's best teams and the world's best players on the road to hockey's ultimate prize, the Stanley Cup.
You've heard him describing unique situations on magazine and reality shows.
A renegade cop goes looking for trouble.
This is not about John Kelly.
And a detective crosses the line with his informant.
He makes his living bringing words to life. His instrument of choice, his own vocal cords.
The Suzuki 1100. It'll knock you out.
The instrument is rich, powerful, urgent, and has a decidedly musical quality. Meet Dick Ervasti, voice actor extraordinaire. For the next few minutes, sit back and enjoy the musicality of the Ervasti voice. As you hear Dick Ervasti describe his latest work, that of multi-instrumentalist, combining his vocal skills with his guitar work, as he performs with the band Pronto Tonto. Let's start with people affecting people. In Pronto Tonto's Insignificant Other, if I'm a good listener, you seem to be saying, I'll be happy to hear about your troubles, but at some point, you've got to hear me and let me respond.
Well, it happened after probably a whole week of my listening to this one buddy of mine at work, and she needed somebody to listen to her, and she was incapable, at least during that week, of listening to anybody else. At the end of the week, man, after like 5 days of doing this, it was like, I need somebody to listen to me. I mean, it's a two-way street.
No more insignificant other, and it's okay that I can't be your lover. You can wipe away your tears with your mother, and if you need a good listener, ask your father.
Gimme Sweet tackles the decidedly different views of sex that exist depending on gender. It's no secret that women generally want intimacy, and guys generally want, well, you know.
Well, when I'm out having a beer with the fellas and all that, we talk about how quickly our romantic interludes take, or how quickly we'd like them to take anyway. We joke about it, how it, pretty much is 60 seconds of bliss, and then boom, turn on the sports channel and, give me a beer. On the other hand, my wife has really taught me how to enjoy the little things, So I thought, I gotta write a tune about this, because, I think I'm getting pretty good at going slow.
Yeah, you give me sweet loving and I'll give it back to you. We'll share our sexy energy, just us two. Give me sweet, honey girl.
In your song Office of the President, you seem to be saying sex is sex, politics are politics, but at the same time, the truth is always the truth.
For me, this really isn't about a sexual episode, because, that little aspect of the whole thing is very, very personal. But what is very public to me is that he was accused of lying under oath. And that is very serious, whether it's about taking a cookie out of a cookie jar or something more serious. If you start bending the laws of our land and bending the implicit understanding of the laws of our land, that's the beginning of the end as far as I'm concerned. And I couldn't tolerate that aspect of it.
In the office of the president, I'll admit to nothing wrong unless you make me. Oh, yeah, make me, baby. Make me right now.
Dick, as you know, in the mid-1960s, there was graffiti that sprang up all over London that said, Clapton is God. In the Pronto Tonto song, You Reach Me, you might say you were touched by the hand of God, and that the song is your reaction to the influence of Eric Clapton.
Eric Clapton's music just reached out and kind of just grabbed me by the ears, and said, hey, you can feel life and you can express it in your music. And so one night I'm watching VH1 and they're doing this thing on Eric Clapton. I just was so filled with honor and respect for Eric's life, what he's been through, where he is now, what his music has meant to me, and what it means to millions of people.
You reach me like no one else can. You teach me to realize all that I am. You show me out to turn all my pain and sorrow into the lovely music of life. You reach me.
You could say that the song Chili Dog is really a musical form of intervention. Intervention in the sense of reaching out to someone in need of a helping hand, right?
And I wanted to write a song that would encourage people who are really depressed and who have thought about suicide. I mean, I thought about suicide when I was in high school and early college, and, I thank God that there were people out there praying for me. And so I wanted to write a tune about somebody who's, going through those thoughts of suicide, and yet there's something there that keeps them, hanging in there. Just remember that you can't give up hope, because there are people out there that are building hope for you brick by brick.
It's amazing what you get from a little old chili dog. I'll snail mail grandma and thank her again. Seems her late night praying probably saved my skin, yeah.
You've included an emotional song that's close to home for Dick Ervasti. The powerful emotion here is experienced by every human being at some point. In your life, the experience happened sooner than you wanted or certainly expected. Tell us about the Forever Trilogy.
In 1975, my mom passed away at the young age of 47. When I called home and my dad answered the phone and he said, "Your mom is gone," and I remember just bawling my eyes out and, wanting to say so many things to her. That's what this trilogy really is to reassure people that not only have they done the right thing in communicating their love to people who are passing away or who have passed away, but that then they have gone on to a way better place.
There's a song on the Pronto Tonto CD that stands out because of its energy and also because of its topic, Preacher Lady. And it's autobiographical as well. Is it time for confession here, Dick?
Long before I met my wife Mary, she had a dream of becoming a Bible teacher. And along about 5 years into our being married, she had an opportunity to have a radio program on in Minneapolis, St. Paul. And she was asked to speak at churches and places like that. I just remember watching her speak one time, and I was getting a little steamy under the collar for some reason. I don't know. But then at the end, I'm singing about my wife, so what's your problem?
Let's talk about Heed the Call. Would you say that that's the guitar riff that just wouldn't quit?
I had this guitar thing that I'd played for many, many years. It was just a little blues thing, do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do, like that. One day I just decided, I've been playing this thing for so many years, man. I need to see what this thing can move into.
The prophets say it's just like Rome before the fall. Don't say they didn't warn ya. Heed the call.
In the song A Little Malibu, you use the seminal, sunny, Southern California musical sound, but ironically, it's used to look at the underside of the California dream, the glitzy myth of LA and Hollywood.
Keep in mind, I grew up in the Midwest. I grew up in a suburb of Minneapolis, St. Paul. And so when I moved to LA, I couldn't believe the number of people that were homeless just hanging out in the street. And Mary and I have a goal to give 5% of our annual earnings for food, clothing, and shelter for the homeless to help them. And we want to encourage a lot of other people to maybe get that same idea.
Everybody needs a little Malibu. Catch a wave, catch some sun. Everybody needs to know that love is true. Love, a true blue love. Drive the PCH for some fun. Give your cash away and help some